Hi everyone, welcome to Inside ITOM Solutions, a dedicated video series where we explain how to monitor and manage various IT systems with ManageEngine's IT solution. I'm Vishnu, and in this video, I'm going to talk about some in-depth server monitoring features in OpManager. This is the third part of our video series on server monitoring. We talked about monitoring server performance in the first part of the video series. In the second part, we covered process and service monitoring. If you are interested in watching these videos, here's a watch link. We've seen how OpManager can monitor the KPIs of your server arrays. We've also seen how you can track key processes and services. So what else can OpManager monitor? In this video, let's go more in depth into a server. Once you safeguard the performance of a server as well as its processes and services, you have to start looking at the data stored inside the server itself. Your server might contain important data in the form of log files and configuration files. These files and the folders that store them require continuous monitoring. Your server may need to reach critical URLs or web pages to operate as well. Running regular URL reachability checks would be necessary in such situations. You might also need to track certain events happening in your service. For instance, Windows Event Logs helps you monitor the program, security, and system events occurring in Windows devices. As you might have expected, with OpManager, you can monitor the files and folders hosted in your servers, URL availability from your servers, as well as event logs for all your Windows servers. Let's see how you can set these monitors up. As we explained in the previous parts, you can find all the information relating to a specific server in the server's dedicated snapshot page. Once you open the snapshot, you can navigate to the monitors section. Let's start by setting up a file monitor. Under the File Monitors tab, you can find the details of all the files monitored by OpManager with some associated details and specifications. To set up a new file monitor, click on Actions and select Add Monitor. Here, you can configure the details of the file you are looking to monitor. The template name is used to identify the file you're monitoring. The file path allows OpManager to reach the file's location and to start monitoring it. The polling interval determines how frequently OpManager monitors the file you are configuring. You can also customize this based on the criticality of the files. Now, what are the attributes that you can monitor for a file? To start, you can monitor whether the log files in your servers contain certain strings or regulated expressions. Log files often document the operation status and results and errors in the service and applications that are hosted in your mission-critical servers. You can monitor the existence of certain error or failure logs here to get alerted instantly for failure situations. By selecting the match case option, you can ensure that OpManager only triggers alarms if the case of the string you provided matches the case of the actual string in the file. The consecutive times field is used to configure the number of times the condition you provided has to happen before OpManager actually raises an alert. You can use this function to reduce the number of false positives. You can edit the severity of this alarm, that is, the urgency as attention, trouble, or critical. File existence monitoring is very simple. It checks if the file does or does not exist at certain intervals. By default, these alerts are set to Do Not Monitor mode. You can configure this into two conditions: alert if the file does not exist or alert if the file exists. These options are useful depending on your monitoring requirements. For instance, if you want to detect an error file that appears when a process or a task crashes, you can set up this monitor to alert for file existing. When OpManager alerts you, you can infer that the process has crashed. On the other hand, some configurations files are critical for operation of your services and applications. You can track the existence of these files by setting up OpManager to alert for the file not existing. Now, file size and file age monitors are very similar. You can set a threshold value for the size and age of the file. If the actual monitored value crosses the threshold value you set up, you get alerted. As you can see, the units also can be altered here for both size and age. The ream value is used to reset the alarm to all clear in case the value goes down below the threshold value. Now, you might be confused as how the ream value works for file age monitoring, as in how can the age of a file go down. This can happen when existing files are rewritten by the system or by other users. For instance, a log file created at 9 a.m. is 3 hours old at 12 p.m. If the system clears the log and starts fresh at 12:01 p.m., the new file is now only seconds old. To OpManager, the file just got younger. File modification monitoring works exactly how it sounds like. If you tick this option, you will get alerts whenever your files are modified. Now, let's go back. You can edit the configuration of your file monitors with the edit icon given here. To see the details of the files you're monitoring, click on the graph icon. OpManager displays monitored elements in graphical and tabular formats. You can adjust the time period with this option up top. Let's go back and move on to folder monitoring. Click on the folder monitors tab in the monitor section. To add a new folder monitor, click on the actions button and choose the add monitor option. Just like with file monitoring, you have to configure a name for the monitor and the path to reach the folder. You can also monitor the subfolders and customize the monitoring interval as well. When it comes to folders, OpManager can monitor the existence of your folders, the size, and whether the folder is modified or not. In addition to this, you can also monitor the files inside a specific folder, specifically the name of the files, the size or age of the files, or the number of files. Just like with file monitoring, you can see the details of the monitored folder if you click on the graph icon. Now, let's set up a URL monitor. Go back to the monitor section and click on the URL monitors tab. Click on the actions button and select add monitor. You will want to enter a descriptive name for the monitor so it's easy for you to identify. Under the cookies section, you can choose to either accept or reject all cookies. If you choose to accept them, it allows the URL response to set a cookie in the request, which helps with session tracking. Next, type in the URL address you want to monitor and set up your monitoring interval and timeout values. You can also define the number of consecutive times a URL can be down before an alarm is generated. This is useful for avoiding alerts during minor network fluctuations. If you want to check for a specific text on a page, use the match content field. Depending on the URL, you will need to select between the get or post methods, as some pages can't be accessed with a simple get request. For more specific requirements, you can define the user agent to simulate a particular browser or add request parameters, one per line, to check the actual availability of a specific service. If the page requires a login, simply configure the username and password for authentication. After setting up the URL monitor, you can click on it to view more details like the availability percentage, the alarms generated for it, as well as the response time. Now, we're moving to our final topic, event log monitoring. Event logs contain vital information for diagnosing applications and operating system failures in your Windows devices. OpManager has a list of pre-configured event logs that you can associate to your server. To do this, go back to the Event Logs tab and click on the Actions button. When you click on Associate Monitor, you will get a list of event logs to choose from. You can also customize the monitoring interval right there. To add your own event logs, you can go to Settings and select Event Log Rules under the Monitoring settings. Here, you will see several default rules already categorized into areas like Application, Security, System, and DNS Server. To create your own, click Add. Now keep in mind that every field here is optional except for the rule name. These fields act as filters. For instance, if you only enter an event ID, OpManager monitors every instance of that ID. If you specify a source as well, it narrows the filter down to just a specific application or a component. First, select the log file name and give your rule a unique name. You can then input the event ID, the source like Microsoft Windows Security, and the category defined by that source. If you need to be even more specific, you can filter by the user who was logged on when the event actually occurred. You can also filter by event types such as errors, warning, or information. For a deeper look into the log message itself, use the description match text field. You can type a specific string here or even use a regulated expression to match complex patterns within a log description. Now, by default, OpManager raises an alarm every time the event occurs. However, you can change this by setting the number of consecutive times the event must appear within a certain number of seconds before an alert is triggered. You can also customize the severity of this event here or choose the option to ignore the event. This is how OpManager gives you a comprehensive, in-depth visibility into all aspects of your servers. With this, we are done with the third and final part of our server monitoring series. We'll be releasing more videos explaining key IT concepts and features of our IT solutions in the upcoming weeks. Subscribe to our channel and click on the bell button to ensure that you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in another video.